And there's the first out. It gives Rhys Hoskins, who's had a perfect afternoon thus far, a chance to hit for a fourth time.
Behind his head, and
here we go.
Out to second goes Adames and Hoskins. Ramirez exchanging, and the umpire's saying we'll handle it.
That's got to be a warning. It has to be. They just threw Ramirez out of the game.
Oh, wow.
And now Carlos Mendoza comes out to argue that. So after conferring, the umpires decided that Johan Ramirez was throwing intentionally at Rhys Hoskins.
And that's a strike. 0-1. Glad he didn't like the call. And Ryan Wills is hearing it from the Blue Jay dugout. And here comes John Schneider.
He's been thrown out.
Yep.
Yeah, Schneider has been disagreeing with the strike zone most of the afternoon, and he is letting him have it, and it's been a very, very inconsistent strike zone.
Yeah.
In both directions.
Both ways. Yeah. Both managers have been upset today.
Yeah.
Emilio Pagan clearly was frustrated. David Bell raced out in defense of his pitcher, and he gave the guff to Corey Blazer, tossed almost immediately. And this went on pretty much the entire time we were away. 28th career ejection for Bell.
On the move. Could not hold up. Oh. Down on strikes. Called out by Mike Malinsky, the home plate umpire. And Derek Shelton is out. Being warned by Malinsky. And Derek Shelton has been ejected. Derek Shelton wanted him to appeal that.
Well, I mean, that's why he's down there. That's why they have that available to them.
Derek Shelton ejected.
All right, so here's an interesting scenario.
Wow.
The Giants had one guy up in the bullpen, and it was Taylor Rogers, the lefty. But when Bob Melvin came out to make the move, Rogers pumped the brakes because Melvin asked for a righty. I'm sorry, I confused you even more.
He put up his right hand. Yeah, he put up his right hand.
So because he called for the righty and the lefty came out, and now Skip arguing with the crew chief Laz Diaz. So now they're going to bring in, looks like Camilo Doval, which was not the original plan.
And he wasn't warming up, so he quickly got up.
Gets by the catcher. Here comes Frelick to the plate. And they are saying an out is recorded, and they're going to send Frelick back to third.
Did the backswing knock the ball out of his glove or what?
He makes contact after the ball already gets away.
Yeah, gets him on the back of the helmet, on the top of the helmet after the ball got by him.
So he should still be able to go to first base, and it's not an out.
Right.
Because it does not affect a wild pitch. Pat Murphy gets ejected for the first time.
Check swing. Did not go.
Boy, thought he did. Craig Counsell bouncing up to the top step of the dugout, barking at Junior Valentine down there. Wow.
Craig Counsell's just been ejected. So Craig Counsell ejected for the first time as manager of the Cubs from long distance.
And from where Junior Valentine was positioned on the field, I'm not sure. Ejection.
97 sears the inner edge. And Cal Raleigh Cotton looking for out number one. And Cal is not happy. And now Ty's trying to turn to Garver, and now he got run. I mean, let's face it, right, Mike? This is less about that pitch and more about today. Is that fair? I mean, I'm sure that Cal was not happy in this situation after fighting off that many pitches, but there's more that has led to this. Frustration, yeah.
And called strike three. He said that's three that weren't on the plate. He's right, but that's the call that's being made, and Nootbaar is rung up for the second out. And Ollie just got tossed, arguing balls and strikes.
I understand that Laz is the crew chief here, but this is the man making the bad calls. Might as well let him talk it out with him first.
Ollie ejected for the second time this season and 11th time.
For the Blue Jays. There goes the runner from first on the appeal, no swing.
And Jose Barrios is pleading his case there, saying that Schwarber swung at that baseball, and when you swing at a pitch and it hits you, it's a strike.
And John Schneider, I believe he's hot at the third base umpire, Paul Clemens, over the check swing call on what Schneider felt should have been a strikeout. And, you know, this is a frustrated group from top to bottom right now.
Base hit. That's going to knock in Moreno. And it'll be a double for Newman. And Melvin's just been kicked out.
They're talking about the noise that Melvin did not think that foul ball made because he didn't think it was touched. And Sherwater's arguing with it. Now Matt Williams coming in. And Matt Williams might get tossed.
Boy, you could tell Verdugo is not happy with that outside corner. He got punched out on a pitch that he thought was way outside, and now Aaron Boone giving John Bacon a piece of his mind. And he gets thrown out. You could see that coming.
And this is why, you know, I got to tell you, Emmanuel, he saw Verdugo was about to snap. And he does that. He is so good at that, and that's one of the reasons these players love.
Stands, the runner's out.
All right, so what's the obstruction rule? What's the obstruction rule? This is, Davey's going to go out right now because that is the obvious thing for obstruction.
All the hoopla about blocking second base, and the Nats lose a runner when second base was obviously blocked.
He wants to go out and talk to the second base umpire. He's saying, you know, the rules in place.
And he just got tossed.
Yep. Well, Davey is hot now.
He got tossed by
Marte continued to argue with the home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez and got himself ejected from the game.
First, here's the pitch. Is it up? Well, Marte thinks it's up, but Gonzalez calls him out. They had some words, but then Marte started walking out to right field to take his position, and that is when Gonzalez threw him out. And in my opinion, you know, the umpires always have, you can't argue balls and strikes. If the guy's walking out to his position, just let him be, let him go out and play. No one's here to watch the umpire. They're here to
umpire Brian Walsh threw him out of the game after a few moments when we went to break. He threw his helmet down. He was fined for that. He already been fined for throwing his helmet there. And then Bryce, it didn't look like it was all that heated. It was strike two that he was upset about. So it's just way too early if you're the umpire to do this.
He was just having a conversation with him, and that's, you have to have some feel for the game and understand. I mean, he didn't look like he was screaming at him or anything like that. He was having a discussion and talking to him probably about the fact that he felt like the pitch.
Jacob Young takes the 3-0 fastball on the edge. Well, somebody's gone. Alfonso Marquez said several times, no more, stop. And Franny, this isn't all about just that pitch. This goes back to the first inning.
Yeah, this is more Mackenzie Gore and defending his guy and knowing that, hey, my guy's making his pitches too. How are we calling this?
Miguel Cairo appears to be the one departing the Nats bench.
O'Shea's hit against strike three calls, so they're not happy. Bob Melvin, the manager, started to come out, and he was ejected by the plate umpire.
And in there, and he took one too many. Now he's going to argue that with a home plate ump, Rehack, and he is going to be tossed out.
Can't. Yeah, I understand his frustration there, but knowing where you are in this game, like I said, Connor's still in it, and he can go there, but now you've got to put a guy like Devers in at third, and we don't know what the situation is.
Down to one.
Yeah, it's a strike, too.
No doubt.
I know you're upset.
No, Chapman is chapped with the home plate umpire, Moscoso. He got tossed.
Well, did it get tossed before the argument?
I don't know. I don't know whether.
We were watching the replay, and I didn't see what was going on.
Yeah.
I wonder if he got tossed before we looked down and he was already at home plate.
Now they're going to have to bring somebody else in. Well, you remember Martin Perez was not happy with Moscoso earlier in the game. He walked off the mound. Chapman said something, and
very much like to answer here in the bottom of the first inning. And that is strike three. Profar doesn't like it. Ends the inning. Throws the bat. And the helmet, he's been tossed. Ejected by the home plate umpire, Ramon de Jesus. And Schultz is fired up. Threw the bat. And then when he threw the helmet, that's when he tossed him.
Boy, that escalated quickly, as they say.
Very quickly. And now Schultz is gone. Profar's been thrown out. Schultz has been thrown out on a pitch that was inside borderline strike, and Profar reacted quickly, and Ramon de Jesus didn't waste any time. He threw him right out.
The 0-2. And that hit Ruiz. He did not swing, so a hit by pitch, and Astori Ruiz, who is the most dangerous base runner in baseball, is on.
See, Aaron Boone is confused. Did he swing? Did he not swing? Also, the reaction on being hit by the pitch was a little bit delayed, so an interesting start to this one. Take another look at the slider, down and in, and it clearly gets that right foot. The only question, a good look here, did he swing?
You got anything else to say? You're gone. Okay?
Oh, okay, Hunter.
Wow. You know what? We're not going to need a John Boy breakdown of that one. We got a very clear.
Aaron,
well, there you go. And now Aaron's saying I didn't say anything.
And he strikes him out. You can tell Lawrence Butler frustrated.
I got to tell you, Lawrence Butler is going to head to the showers. John Tumpane.
Mark Kotze might follow. He's going to come out and have a conversation.
Well, and in that spot right there, look, it's the 9th inning. I'm just not sure that that's a time. And you can see John saying, I've got it a strike. It's a strike. And he'll go back and find out that he's wrong.
Frustrating spot for Lawrence Butler.
That slider caught the inside corner, according to Jansen Visconti. Jazz disagreed.
Jazz better watch out. Once you start to look back at an umpire and you start to throw your hands up, you can get the hook real quick, and you can see, I mean, that ball just barely touches that corner.
When Jazz was walking away, Visconti was just taking the balls from the ball boy and moving on, and didn't really give much credence to it. But Jazz sat right next to Mel and kept going. Asked him to stop one more time.
And strike 3 called, and Bichette slams down his helmet, and he just got tossed out of the game. And John Schneider is going to ask why. Did you throw him out? What did he say? Is what John Schneider's just saying. And we saw this, remember Jurickson Profar in San Diego, similar thing. I don't know if Bo said anything. He definitely slammed down his helmet, but that normally is a warning, and it's called an equipment violation. It's a fine, unless maybe it escalates with more words. Let's see if we can get a look here. I think he said something, but I don't think he said it to the umpire. I think he said one word, and I think we know what it is, but
keeps the inning alive for Brendan Donovan, who singled and scored the lone Cardinal run. And now Ollie and Alan Porter are going nose to nose.
Oh, he's going to go. Salva's going to go too. It's very unprofessional on the umpire right there. Unprofessional, 100% be yelling back at the manager.
The moment Bud Black gets himself thrown out of the game after being denied the opportunity for a review. I'm guessing, and we were debating on whether or not too much time had expired. Obviously, the home plate umpire, Chad Fairchild, believed it had, but when I was watching from down here, it didn't seem like he was even paying attention to Buddy. And here's the play again that got him tossed, is the attempted stolen base by Ezekiel Tovar comes off, but looks like he might find a way to get that foot back on the bag, but we'll never know what the review center thinks of it.
That's the 11th time. To Vidal Brujan. Takes a strike. Another multi-hit game for Brujan last night. Average on the year up to 269, and this is not the first time we've seen it, but Skip Schumacher exchanging words with the home plate umpire, Ben May, and that's actually going to do it for Skip. I think he's the one that got thrown out. Somebody did. Well, they're pointing to someone else on the bench who got thrown out.
Yeah, maybe it was somebody in the stands. That's how Brett Boone, I mean, that Boone got ran in the Yankee game one day. Somebody in the stands said something, and he got ran. You can read Skip's lips and say, who said something?
Well, now the third base umpire, crew chief Dan Iasonia, comes in. He had his eyes toward the Marlins dugout as well. So Skip just wants to know who said something and who's getting thrown out.
And then Skip says, no one said anything.
We have an interesting situation going on here as the inning is about to start. Reynolds Blanco is having his glove checked. Laz Diaz, the crew chief, and the 4 umpires conferring right now.
Feels like they're putting their hand inside Reynolds' glove to feel it. Now, if you have enough sweat, they're going to eject him.
Wow. They are going to eject Reynolds Blanco from this game for apparently something on the glove. And this is terrible news for a lot of reasons. Number one, he's out of the game. And number two, if this is deemed to be something illegal on the glove, then this could be a suspension as well.
But he's trying to tell him there's nothing on my hand. It's on the. And again, we talked about how much J.P. Sears is sweating, but obviously enough concern.
And we've seen Reynolds in the past not working as hard tonight as J.P., so not profusely sweating, but he's a sweater in general. He's a guy that sweats a lot. He's going to get ejected from this game, and now Joe Espada and Josh Miller have to confer as to who's going to be the guy coming out of the bullpen, who will obviously get as much time as needed to warm up.
But they've been checking that glove the whole game. Why would it be on now?
Coming out from the dugout?
Yeah, they've checked him in between innings. They've checked him. Well, we've played 3 innings. They've checked him previously, and all of a sudden they find it now.
That is really
the 3-2 from Robertson. It's low ball 4. So.
Oh, it's a foul tip into the glove of Jonah Heim. And that's a strikeout. 2 away. And that will definitely get some conversation. Well, now he's retracting it. And it's now the Rangers are going to argue. Oh, this is unbelievable. I'm still not sure I understand what's going on with these guys. Oh, and Bochy has just been ejected. That didn't take long.
Is on the inside corner at 97. It's big strike zone for both clubs. Bradish has his first punch out. So Lars Nootbaar is on his way out. Did he just get thrown out of this game? Nootbaar must have been chirping from the Cardinals dugout when he saw 97 ring him up in this first inning. And Laz Diaz stands between him and Mike Estabrook. Lars Nootbaar apparently has been thrown out of this game here in the first.
Strike 3. Judge not thrilled with that call. And he gets thrown out. I think that's the first time he's ever been thrown out.
Well, Ryan Blakely, you just made a lot of enemies because a lot of people paid to come watch Aaron Judge swing the bat.
Kind of stunning. You never see him argue. He has a very bad strike zone against him all the time. And he gets tossed. He wasn't in the guy's face.
Welcome back here, bottom of the 6th, all knotted up. I'm going to show you what happened here with J.P. Sears and Gabe Morales. J.P., who's this on? Well, looks like he feels like all of it is on Gabe Morales, and you can understand why the frustration for J.P. I mean, he just watched his teammate come in and execute, get a job done with the fastball, not get the credit for it, and that snowball we talked about.
Strike 3. Soderstrom not happy. He's going to turn around and have that conversation with Tom Hanahan, and he's now tossed out of the game. Mark Kotze out of the dugout now. Take over where Soderstrom left off.
And I think the fact that Tom Hanahan is even entertaining the conversation for Mark Kotze kind of lets you know that, hey, he probably has a feel that it's been bouncing around, and he said that that's down. That's twice. That's twice. That's twice. The first, and then And then he gets.
And right there he does the same. That's called strike 3. It was below the zone. Here comes AJ Hinch to try and help his player, and they're gonna, you know, AJ was a step away from getting out there, and Phil Cuzzy runs Javi Baez, and AJ is trying to block Javi because he is incensed. Joey Cora's out there as well. Javi Baez is incensed. I don't know what was said, but Javi is livid. AJ Hinch was one step away from the plate when Phil Cuzzy threw out Javi Baez.
And Blanco goes on first movement, and Ray throws over, and Blanco is going to be out. Matt Quatrero might be arguing. He just got ejected by second base umpire Jordan Baker, and he might be arguing blocking second base. This is not a reviewable play because blocking the bases cannot, because it falls under the umbrella of obstruction. So this is the best that Q can do, is go out and argue.
That one a little lower.
Yeah, even if your pitcher's up, that one was way out of the zone. And here comes Will, and I think he was given the boot.
Or maybe it was Marcus Timms, because Marcus Timms and someone else has now been ejected.
I think both. Yeah, Will was thrown out. No, I think they've both been thrown out.
And Albies takes 4 straight balls to load the bases. Ollie just got thrown out of the game by Mark Carlson, arguing balls and strikes. You could read his lips. He thought ball 4 was strike 1. Maton departs, allowing the tying run. The bases remain loaded, and Oliver Marmol continues to chirp with Mark Carlson as Atlanta has him loaded with 1 out in a tie game.
Dunn goes. Pitch called a strike, thrown down. He is out. Reds are going to challenge. But I think the question,
he just threw Colin Cowgill out of the ballgame.
Francona might get run here too. And he's going right back after Alex McKay, second base umpire. Protracted talk here between Francona and crew chief, third base umpire Alan Porter.
What Alan Porter was saying is you were thrown out of the ballgame.
All that you need, and Savali needs to keep pitching. He's going to be a free agent at the end of this year, and it looks like Venable's gone.
Will Venable is hot early on. He is giving it to Marvin Hudson. Hudson has blown numerous calls already to start this game, and Will Venable is sticking up for his pitcher.
Well, happy Father's Day to you. I think that was what was
low. Oh, and they called that strike 3. It was low, and Jordan Baker missed it, and Ryan Jeffers has been thrown out. Rocco Baldelli out for a conversation, but that was low.
Brutal.
And Jeffers ejected. That's rare for the Twins catcher.
Rightfully so. That ball's never in the strike zone. And the zone has been tight, low all night. Pitches in the zone have been called low. And that ball, not a strike. It's a good at-bat by Ryan Jeffers.
Bottom of the zone, strike 3.
Everything up to the final pitch.
And McLean is not happy. Terry Francona trying to back up his player, now coming out of the dugout. But the low strike has been so hard all game. Hunter Green got burned on it. And it looks like he's tossed somebody. And Terry Francona has been tossed. Is that Nick Martinez? It looked like that had come off the rail.
Well, the bottom of the strike zone has been non-existent here tonight.
Is that a strike? Most days, yes. Yeah. But most of the game, it hadn't been.
It has not been.
What's a strike in the first should be a strike in the ninth. And
that hit the bat? I guess it did hit the bat. Or did it hit? What did it hit? A swinging strikeout. So it hit the batter, but the batter was considered to have swung the bat.
Right. Well, and I think that Diaz is saying, look, it hit the butt end of my bat.
So they're going to explain it to Kevin before they let everybody else know, and the fact that there's likely going to be a review. He said the first base umpire ruled that he went with a swing. A lengthy argument for Kevin Cash. And Ucetta's walking back onto the field. And Kevin's thrown out for the first time this season. First ejection of the year for Rays manager Kevin Cash. And that's as hot as you'll see Kevin get.
Might as well get your money's worth.
Well, I can't think it's too many times that he has been this fired up.
No.
In 11 years.
No, he's living.
And he's not done yet. He's coming back onto the field. And Jim Wolf is coming to meet him, and Rodney's trying to protect him.
Rounded fair to third. Gino with a long throw. And Caven able to keep it in front. And Koss stumbled across the bag. He's injured and tagged out. That will end the inning, but Koss is really shaken up down there. He could not get back to the second base bag. And we have a collision around the bag. Yeah, Lawler was standing there. And Koss, I guess, didn't see him.
Fielders are prohibited from impeding or hindering a runner's path to the base while not in possession of the ball or in the act of fielding the ball. That's the definition of type 1 obstruction. Now Lawler's going over to cover the bag. He's got his back to Koss, and Koss just had nowhere to go.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but I think that's a bad on Jordan Lawler right there. You got to get out of the way. You have to realize what happens on the play. He went to the bag anticipating a force play there from Gino, but Gino instead went across the diamond, and as soon as you see that throw, you've got to get out of the way.
This is a subjective judgment call by the umpire.
Second in the league in average sprint speed. And wow, that was called strike 3. O'Hearn will get a steal. Brandon Hyde's out. I am shocked at that one. That pitch looked like it was way below the zone, and John Bacon's telling Brandon Hyde, go back to your dugout.
And I don't know, Brandon Hyde might have gotten thrown out already, and I don't blame him for taking the heat for Westy, because you can't let Westy get thrown out of the game. But as a manager, I love to see this. He is sticking up for his guys, and Westy got hosed.
Check swing, did he go? He did. Ryan Blakeney said Seager went around, and Alexander escapes danger, and we're going to the 11th. Bruce Bochy's not happy about it, but we've got more baseball here at Arlington.
Boch didn't like it, and he's not going to watch any more of the game from the dugout.
88th career ejection. We'll be watching from the clubhouse.
Jason Dominguez here. 1 ball, 1 strike. And home plate umpire Bruce Streckman is having a word or two with Aaron Boone. It's James Rowson. Yeah, I don't know. Did you see the?
Yeah, he did. He's a lefty. He threw him out lefty.
And come up with a hit. He is 1 for 4 against him.
Boy, he doesn't like that call right there. First pitch changeup that looked to be down below the zone, and Taylor's telling him. He said, Nick, that ball is down. That ball is down.
And now, after not liking that first call, and boy, he is hot.
Oh, yeah. Or did he get thrown out too?
I think he got thrown out.
He's out now for sure.
Yeah.
Because he said, he turned to him and said that ball was down. And did he get assessed another strike or because he had called time? He had called time. Well, they got to get Taylor into the dugout right now.
He is hot.
Well, I can't remember the last time. Well, saw somebody that mad. It's a changeup down and away. It's called a strike, and he's upset. Okay, strike. He's like, oh man, are you kidding me? And he turned around and said to him, he goes, Nick, right there, he said, right here. There's
a high probability this is going to be a fastball. You certainly don't want to sell out completely. Oh no!
That was ball 4. That could decide the game. And Donnie Kelly is going to give it to Edwin Jimenez. And that's when Donnie Kelly got ejected for a 3rd time in his first month managing the Pirates.
Man, close. Called a ball. You saw Bailey, and now the Giants are barking.
That's it. That's it. You know what? Done.
Oh, here we go. Bob Melvin just got kicked out of the game.
This is exactly what he needs to let him know. You know, you're going to call him on us. You got to call him both ways. You can't just be ringing our guys up. And sticking up for the guys, it matters. And Bob is feeling it. You can tell this is real. This is no act. This is coming from the heart.
Ooh.
Let him know.
Strike 3 call. Talrani's single is stranded. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Just moments ago, Dan Wilson coming out, talking with Laz Diaz after the strikeout to Randy Arozarena, and something that has never happened in the baseball career of Dan Wilson as a player or in his short early career as a manager. Dan Wilson has been ejected from this game.
Webb just off the outside corner. 1-1.
That was close. Could have been called a strike. There we go.
Yep, there goes. Bochy's just been tossed. And he'll come out to make sure that Torres heard exactly what he was trying to communicate. Carlos Torres, our plate umpire. Here comes the future Hall of Fame manager. Yankees fans trying to get involved in the conversation themselves. But Bochy, this has been a long time coming. He was a little hot the other day in that Houston series, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't get thrown out before Joe Espada got thrown out by the Astros.
Yeah.
There have been some dubious ball strike umpires lately.
Well, and that's, I believe, the 3rd missed ball on Aaron Judge in this game. And, you know, I believe that one, it was borderline, but I think an edge of the ball caught the zone.
3-2.
They got the check swing that time. Wow.
Now the bases are loaded.
I thought he swung.
Someone just got thrown out.
Yeah.
Well, Donnie Kelly, John Lipka says you're out of this game, and that's the 2nd time already that he's been ejected. I could read lips. He said, "You go back to the clubhouse, kind sir." And that's what he'll have to do now.
I don't like that.
Gets the call. Low fastball against Dominguez. There's strike 3.
Wagner behind the plate has been really inconsistent.
And Aaron Boone's been ejected. The night's frustrations probably built up on both sides.
Well, I can understand Aaron Boone being frustrated with that call. That was down. Wagner's missed a lot of calls tonight.
Boone emptying out the bag. Dominguez called out on strikes, 2 away.
Down to the count 0-2 as a pinch hitter. Did he go? Yes, he did, according to De Jesus. Wow, that was close. Bob Melvin he might get tossed out here. He's running out to argue with Ramon De Jesus.
It's obviously a massive call in a tie game in the 9th inning. The leadoff batter.
Rocco Baldelli got thrown out of last night's game. Now Bob Melvin out of today's game. And you know you're having a rough series as an umpiring crew when both managers.
And now time as Woods Richardson was beginning his motion. And what do we have? A pitch time violation on Woods Richardson. That's going to be ball 4. And Rocco will leave the dugout. And Vasquez, he's in the face of Nick Lentz. Rocco's in there as well. And I don't think Rocco's going to be long for this game. But a pitch time violation called on Woods Richardson. And that leads to ball 4. And puts India on. Reading Rocco's lips there for a moment, he said he didn't do that. Now what Lentz said. And Rocco's been tossed. Yes, he did, is what Rocco was saying. Almost looked like Rocco said he called timeout.
And I don't know if they're going to push him. We'll see. Driven deep to left field. Fair ball, it's gone. It is a foul ball, just foul. A bullet down the line. You talk about reaching out and touching someone right there. That was a swing, boy.
The call on the field is foul ball. This is a crew chief review.
Crew chief review. I hope they have an angle here to look. Tough to see from our angle. Well, as we watch this swing. Man, that ball was hit really far. And you think about it in a Major League stadium. You know, the foul pole, let's see here. Oh, my. Wow. From that angle. And in a Major League ballpark, Todd, the foul pole is much higher. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to before I saw that. I mean, that angle there, it's not straight on. But to me, I mean, that could have just wrapped around. I'm a big proponent. Top of the foul pole.
After review, call on the field stand. The foul ball.
They have it. Top of the foul pole, lasers. Lasers, yeah, something. So easy. I mean, from that angle there, it's... I'm not sure. Call it foul either. Agreed. And I'm looking at Luis Rojas at third, too. He's not really complaining that much. Strike three. So from what would have been a long home run, he strikes out looking. Does not like that call. And he tells Adam Beck quickly out of the dugout. And Aaron Boone just got thrown out because he got out of the dugout in a hurry to protect Judge. And he's been complaining the entire game about Beck's strike zone. Yeah, I think he's still mad about the home run call, too. That was foul. Yeah, that's who he's going to argue with now.
Yeah, for CJ, he's, I mean, already struck out twice.
Timeout. This is your award. Anything else, you're going.
Okay, well, we could throw you out, too.
Oh, there we go. Somebody just got run from the Nationals dugout. Looks like Chris Johnson. That was terrible. Is maybe a FCC safe version of what CJ just said.
Yeah, someone got defensive for being bad. It's okay, Lance.
3-2. Struck him out looking, and Reynolds didn't think so. Leadoff double. Canario stranded. Still 2-1 Atlanta. 2-1, and there goes Brian Reynolds. He got tossed by the home plate umpire Clint Vondrack. As he was arguing with Vondrack, but then he is barking at the crew chief Dan Bellino, and he gives him the ejection. And Mike Rebello goes over to find out what's going on. So the crew chief had enough.
A couple close calls for strike threes on Brian Reynolds today, and 2 line drive outs. He's obviously frustrated.
2-1 is there. It's a strike. Somebody downstairs just said that ball's out. And Adrian Johnson. Oh boy. Here we go. 3 straight hitters. That is now the second most famous hat toss in this city to Mary Tyler Moore.
And barking from the Pirate bench. So he's not going to listen to it anymore.
Go ahead, Donnie.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Here comes Donnie. Somebody just got tossed. How about Don Kelly? Well, we're going to search the record books. The last time a manager got tossed in his second big league game, and he's going to let Clint Vondrack have it. I think it's possible that somebody else got tossed initially. Maybe it might have been Rebello. We'll have to find out, but there's no way.
Strike call.
That's a good pitch.
And hearing it from the dugout is Adrian Johnson. Mike Schilt has been barking at him quite a bit tonight. Fernando strikes out. 2 down in the inning, and Fernando's going to say some stuff and get tossed. Adrian Johnson sends him out. Mike Schilt's not far behind him as he's coming out. And now Mike Schilt's going to throw his stuff, and he is really going to let him have it.
Oh, I'm not a lip reader, but classic example of Mike Schilt. We know what he's all about, sticking up for his players.
So Fernando gets ejected. Mike Schilt was ejected.
Change up right on the outside corner. Another strikeout for Giolito. And now why is John Schneider out of the dugout?
Well, I'm sure there's been some chirping coming from that dugout. I wonder if Mr. Popkins has been shown the exit. He's walking down the dugout.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think so too.
So the hitting coach getting ejected for not liking the strike zone that the Blue Jay batters are getting, and there it is as Derek Thomas throws David Popkins out of the game. Leading it off against Max Fried. And that changeup paints the outside corner with the knees.
John Schneider just got thrown out of the ball game, and this has been going on for a few innings now. Kevin Gausman was thrown out as he was taken out of the game by Chris Conroy.
Yeah, you're right. Most of this has to do with Gausman.
Yeah. Frustrating day for Gausman and John Schneider. But after that ball was called on Vladdy, Schneider couldn't keep it inside. And
so an afternoon that started so well for Kevin Gausman ends much earlier than he would have liked, and as you can see, with a lot of frustration. He had some words for the home plate umpire Chris Conroy on his way down to the Blue Jays third base dugout. The first 2 innings he sailed through them really, and then the third inning his command was not as good obviously as it was in the first 2, and he took issue with a number of pitch calls. So Gausman is out.
Just clips for a strike. More barking from the Cardinal dugout. And Marmol's been ejected. He hurdles the railing and comes out to get his money's worth. He was the most animated going at Dreckman in the infancy of the game.
What you don't want to do is the guy go up there and swing at a pitch out of the zone. Now we got some issues. Justin Kelly not happy with the Lance Barrett strike zone here this afternoon. Looks like DK's been run.
Assuming it was on the first strike call to Lopez.
Strike 3. That one looked outside. Maybe it's a makeup call, and Chisholm's down on strikes.
There's no such thing about that. You missed the call, you don't make up for it, and there he goes.
Well, you can't argue balls and strikes, and he was teetering on that edge, and Boone was trying to break it up, but Bacon had enough. Now he might get fined too because he just tossed the helmet lightly, but he tossed the helmet toward home.
Did he offer? No, says Laz Diaz. Wow. And the Boo Birds are out for Laz Diaz. Laz has heard enough.
Well, this was Torey Lovullo during the pitching change. Cap to cap, bill to bill, and nose to nose with the crew chief, Laz Diaz. And this is as animated as we've seen the skipper in a long time. Guessing that this was about the non-strike 3 call on the Tyler O'Neill check swing. Torey was going to get every.
Now a strike.
I think they're booing the sell job.
Yeah.
And that ball was almost in the middle of the plate.
Oh, and a strike call on the outside part of the plate. And Morrell not happy.
I don't think Rob Drake is either.
Yep, a full count. And Morrell is out on strikes, and he has been ejected from the game. Morrell ejected after.
Brendan Miller catching it from the Brewers dugout, and now he ejects Ricky Weeks. Ricky Weeks has seen enough.
Now this is all about the strike zone. We've been talking about it most of the day. Very tight at times, liberal at other times.
Weeks ejected.
And another at-bat ends in a strikeout. And Laureano has just been ejected from the game for slamming down his helmet. James Hoyt tossed him. Brandon Hyde will come out after Ramon has said his piece, but the bat throw and then the helmet spike is going to get you run pretty much every time.
What do you know? He took a pitch. And liner.
Wow, that's a low zone.
Well,
right.
so yeah, I think at this point, now that we just got our first ejection.
Got him.
Now I've had this sense the last couple of days that Joe Espada was this close, as my mom used to say, and he's just finally blew. And Nick Marley said, "I've heard enough."
Yeah, the foundation was laid by the Texas Rangers disagreeing with similar calls, and now Joe Espada's asking him to clean it up.
Thompson yelling at both Stu Sherwater and Jordan Baker. I think they might have called a disengagement. What is going on here? Well, we've got 35,129 that would like to know what's going on as well.
And he's got the hand, and he's been ejected. Ryan Thompson was turning around and saying something to Dan Merzel, the second base umpire, who may have initiated all that mishegas before. And Jordan Baker screamed at the Diamondback pitcher, "Let it go," and that's when the dugout had to get involved.
Lindor with the theft gets into scoring position. And the count 2-0 on Soto. Buehler getting after it with Estabrook, the home plate umpire. Narvaez out there to push it back, and he's thrown him out of the game. Estabrook has run the Red Sox starter. Walker Buehler has been thrown out, and Cora out now.
The problem is that pitcher, Estabrook called it a ball. It was right down the middle. I mentioned Narvaez kind of stands up, you know, to make a better throw, but Estabrook can't see it. That ball's right down the middle. I didn't realize he called it a ball. He did. Buehler had a problem with it, but I'll say this. Walker, I know he's emotional. He's a veteran. He's been around. You can't get thrown out here in this third inning.
Cora has been run too. And he fired up Alex Cora. Returning.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Andujar's just been ejected. And he is gone from this game, and the A's are gone in the 8th for the second start in a row. A's do not score. We'll go to the 8th. It's 3-3.
This is how that last half inning just ended, with a pitch well below the zone. Young called out on strikes. That was just so frustrating with a team that has struggled here. And then Will Little, hearing it from the Rangers bench, ejected somebody. We'll have to see who that was. That said, Will Little today, for the most part, we really haven't noticed him, right? I mean, it's not like he's had a lot of controversial calls back there. By and large, been pretty good. Just a couple of really obvious misses.
That call on Herrera, a break for the Diamondbacks, as Herrera's out on strikes. Here's Burleson. Your team offensively is really fun to watch, and it looks like someone's been thrown out.
Hey, Ollie
Hopefully
Marmol
it's
just
not
got.
Eric. I don't think Eric said anything.
Now Ollie just got tossed out. Ron Kolpa, we talked about, he's from St. Louis.
Well, it's a good thing that Eric wasn't sitting next to Ollie, because we may have heard something that we probably would have regretted. And he's getting his money's worth here.
Eric, does that fire you up when you see a manager get into it like that?
Hell yeah, we love that. I mean, Ivan's one of the hottest bats in the league right now, and you know, when things don't go his way, that really hurts them.
Runner goes, they've got him. Tell you what, he was hustling up to the second base bag. Durbin, I think, felt like he got his hand in there on the swim move.
And I think they just called a balk.
Oh,
and
did they really?
It was the third base umpire called a balk, I believe.
Yeah, Luzardo's not happy about it. They're saying that his foot crossed his leg, which means he has to then go to the plate instead of dropping down and going to first.
Now, the first base umpire has a much better look at that than the third base umpire. And how he calls it is the reason why right now that Rob Thompson's really angry.
Oh, see, I think the third base umpire thought that he crossed his leg.
Well, that's exactly what Rob Thompson's asking.
Yeah.
Why in the world is this guy making the call?
We have an argument. Carlos Correa is screaming at Austin Jones. Rocco Baldelli is fired up, and he gets ejected.
He threw out Correa?
He did. Carlos Correa was ejected from the on-deck circle. That was a borderline pitch. Austin Jones calls time on behalf of the batter, and then Correa has a word with Jones, who immediately throws him out. What are you doing, says Rocco Baldelli, with a couple words in
Arms with Marsh and Castellanos in center and right. Saw Marsh's arm on full display last night.
And I think there might have been a little finger pointing there.
Oh, yeah.
And Mark felt disrespected. And he's going to head to the clubhouse.
Follow, right? That's a strike. And it's about.
Yep. And he said, don't point your finger at me. With a bit of a standing ovation in the left field foul seats. You know, he's worked tirelessly night in and night out to try and get a win for the.
And the 0-2 on the way to Crawford. It is strike 3 called on the outside corner, and JP not happy at all with home plate umpire Andy Fletcher, and Crawford has just been thrown out of the ball game. JP Crawford is red hot. He's not giving up the conversation. Here comes Dan Wilson, and JP called out on strikes by Andy Fletcher. And there's one away for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And JP
of the order, and here's Xavier Edwards.
Let's see if Edwards can maybe drop one down that third base line.
Shows Button, he pushes it back towards the mound. Littell is on it, and he throws it to first, and it gets down the right field line. No throw to the plate. That'll plate a run. Aranda's on his rear end at first, and Xavier Edwards walking back to the bag. And I think they may have called interference on Xavier Edwards, and the run's not going to score. What happened here, Nelly?
Well, I don't know, unless he ran in the grass to try to alter the throw. Now, we did see that one time at home when Edwards tried to score. He was about 3 feet in that grass. Now, the first base umpire is Ben May over there. This is a judgment call. This is not reviewable. So Clayton McCullough and the Marlins cannot review this play. This is a judgment call by the umpire, the first base umpire. He's calling interference. Let's see. This is a great bunt, and Littell takes his time getting off the mound, and a really poor throw. And I don't know where the interference came from. I really do not see.
The 5th inning is presented by Audi. Well, Brian Snitker came out during the inning to talk to Gabe Morales at length about the balls and strikes. And Brian Snitker was ejected. It was a quiet ejection, but he was tossed, and this is the straw that broke the camel's back.
So it's a borderline pitch, pretty close, but based on what we have seen, that needs to be called a strike this afternoon. Right? The comparison again to what we showed you with Marcel compared to this one. And Drake does a really nice job, and the conversation in between innings went lengthy. Now, I never saw the official ejection, but we just heard it over the PA.
Review, the call on the field stands. Foul ball. New York will lose the challenge.
Aaron Boone not too thrilled, and he gets thrown out after throwing gum toward the field. He gets thrown out by the home plate umpire John Tumpane.
Yeah, I think Aaron thought it hit the line from the review they saw.
This shocks you because DJ LeMahieu does not have much to say on the field, and Jeremy Rehak didn't like what he said and threw him out immediately.
To know your outfield arm.
That's a call, third strike.
Well, he just ran Nico.
Nico Horner gets tossed.
This is an experienced umpire back there.
No.
Derek Thomas, and we never see Nico beef at the umpires. No, Craig is going to get his money's worth here.
I think Craig just said you're better than that. You missed the call.
First offering, tapped. Oh, that had weird spin. Kelly safe at first. Wow. It's the 6th straight inning they've gotten a leadoff man on. That's just a bad break for the Cubs.
Craig Counsell out to argue perhaps that he thought Kemp was running it in fair territory. Remember, they amended that rule. You do not have to run in the lane as long as you're on the dirt. Craig has just been ejected for the 2nd day in a row.
So Craig Counsell has been ejected.